Namaste. I'm Dr. Robert. And today on 5-ish Minutes with Dr. Robert, my subject is, how do I know which mantras to chant? Let's start with which mantras you should start off not chanting. And those are Vedic mantras unless you have either been initiated into them or you have been taught them by somebody who's been initiated into them. Because Vedic mantras are very specific. They have very specific svobodas. That means there are three different, there's an upper tone, an upper tone, a middle tone, and a lower tone. You have to know what tone you're applying. You have to recite it. You have to know which T and which D you're using. You have to be very, very careful with it because that's the way the Veda delivers its results. And Vimalananda went further and he said, if you really want to get results from the Veda, you have to know which chakra to recite each different syllable at. Vedic mantras are beautiful, but if you want to recite one, don't just go onto YouTube and listen to somebody singing the Gayatri mantra in some kind of tune that they've added to it. Leave that out. There are plenty of other classical mantras that you can pick up on your own. Classical mantras in Sanskrit still require you, honestly, to be able to know which T you're, and I'm speaking to those people who have not learned an Indian language from childhood. It's very hard to hear the difference between these T's and D's. If you can hear that difference, if you've learned how to do it, or if you grew up hearing it, and that means it's natural to you, then that's fine. But still, remember that there are certain peccadillos in various languages about reciting Sanskrit, and you want to recite it as cleanly as possible. Go for mantras in Samaskrita. Remember that word means well engineered. Go for mantras in Samaskrita if you honestly can say that you have been well aligned with that language. Otherwise, there are plenty of other things that have turned into mantras that are not Sanskrit. And they can be recited by pretty much anybody at pretty much any time. Like the Hanuman Chalisa. It was written in Avadi. It was written in a language that was the language of the people. Similarly, we have people who recite the Jnaneshwari, the Bhavartha Deepika, like a mantra. And it's in Old Marathi. Admittedly, it's Old Marathi, but still, it's not Sanskrit, and you can recite it pretty much any way you want to, because that's the way it was created. This also applies to what are called Shabara mantras. The Shabara mantras were created by Machindranath and then promulgated by Gorakhnath and the other Naths. And Shabara mantras are specifically meant for people who don't really know Sanskrit, can't really get their mouths around it as easily as people who have been well trained in it can do. And Shabara mantras, which certainly you ordinarily need to find someone who can deliver them to you, but they can also just be picked up out of a book, or they can be picked up from somebody that you hear chanting, because there are not these kinds of restrictions. The question was specifically about the Lalita Sahasranama. So a Sahasranama is a type of stotra. It's a type of hymn of praise. If you're going to take on reciting the Lalita Sahasranama, number one, you should be able to recite Sanskrit properly. It's not complicated Sanskrit, but it is still Sanskrit. It still requires you to pronounce each letter carefully and to be able to know where you put emphasis and where you don't put emphasis, and to be able to do so while you're also focusing on Lalita. So Lalita is also known as Raja Rajeshwari, Tripura Sundari, Bala. She is a Mahavidya. She's one manifestation of the supreme reality of the universe. She happens to be a manifestation in the form of a 16-year-old girl. That's how we see her externally. So if you're going to recite the Lalita Sahasranama, you want to have a devotional attitude towards Lalita. You want to be able to recite Sanskrit, and if at all possible, you'd like to learn it personally from somebody who has already been doing it. This is Dr. Robert wishing everyone a happy and successful recitation of mantras.